Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to Old Iron Garage. Thank you for tuning in. So tonight on the bench here, we are going to pick up where we left off with cleaning the carburetor for my Bolens QT17. So as I said in the last video, normally I will let the carburetor soak in this gallon of Bolens QT17 for 3 hours, pull it out, brush it clean, and let it soak for another 3 hours, which then I would pull it out, do the final cleaning, and then rebuild it. But this one was so bad that I let it sit for 24 hours. It has been almost exactly 24 hours now. So let's dive in. I have not yet pulled it out of here. Let's dive in and see what this thing looks like. Let me move you guys, get you situated. Get you all situated so you can see what is going on. Put that right about there. That should be good. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to move this stool. That's irritating me. It's in my way. Little late night fuel to keep me going. A NOS energy drink. Man, this stuff smells wonderful. That was sarcasm right there. A little bit of sarcasm. Yeah, this stuff actually does not smell very good. I'll let it, okay, try it again. I'm going to let that sit there, kind of drip off for a moment, because I want to try and catch and save as much of this cleaning solution as possible. So whatever lands on there, I dump back in the tank. That looks very nice inside here. Let me get you up there and show you. That looks nice and clean. See what a great job this Bolens QT17 does? It's amazing. I want to show this to you guys. Even the factory paint, there's not much on this side, but you can see there's a green tint. Not anymore. It even eats off the factory paint. If you leave it in there long enough, it'll take all of that off. Usually if it takes that off, I'd let it go until it takes it all off, because I don't want my carburetor to... not only do I want it to function well, but I want it to look nice as well. I take pride in my work. I try to make everything clean as possible and look as nice as possible. So yeah, we're just going to brush at this, see how much of that paint will come off. I'm surprised it's not all just coming off. This must be some good quality paint, because usually at 6 hours in there, it all just, you can take your finger and just wipe it off like nothing. But this, some of it, the thicker areas, you have to get your fingernail involved to get it off. Which that's actually gives me an idea. Here we go. A small brass bristled brush. Oh yeah. There we go. That's the ticket. This is going to take off anything that doesn't want to come off with that nylon bristled brush. This is still going to soak a bit longer. I'm not done soaking it. And I don't even know the condition of like all the passages and ports yet. Like right now I'm just doing the outside, what I can see with my eyes. This part's a little tedious, but it is very satisfying. I don't like doing it, but I like watching the fruits of my labor come to fruition. I like watching this thing become clean as new, like a freshly cast carburetor body. Another thing I'm going to do here in a moment is take the gasket scraper to the gasket surfaces that I did not get all the gasket removed on. Okay, it's good enough for now, I think. Yeah, now I'm going to go at this remaining bit of gasket. And that just peels right off. Now, whenever I rebuild a carburetor, either before or after soaking it and cleaning it, usually after I get all the old gasket off, sometime after I get all the old gasket off, I will take a perfectly flat, smooth surface, like a brand new cinder block, and I will tape some sandpaper, like a large piece of sandpaper to the top. Spray it down with some good old WD-40, and I will plane the gasket surfaces. In a previous video, you can see me do that to a tractor head, a Tecumseh HH100 to be specific. Man, that is looking nice inside there. I don't know how well you can see that. It's looking pretty nice in there. This thing's looking like brand new just about. Do a little scrubbing down in there where the O-ring sits. Guys, I am 100% convinced that the last fresh fuel this carburetor's seen was prior to when they started putting ethanol in our fuel here in the U.S. because I see 0 ethanol damage. 0. Now's a good time for me to see if I can get this jet out. Of course not. Of course not. Another thing I can't get out is this thing here, the fuel needle seat. It's got a hex head to it, like down lower here, and I don't know if you can kind of see it there. If it'll focus. Focus. It don't want to focus. So, and that's meant to be removable. But I don't have a socket thin enough to get down in there, and I don't want to grind that, so I'm probably just going to have to leave that. Well, that Berryman's Chem Dip is not very nice to your skin. You really don't want it on your skin for very long. You know what? I'm going to seal that up. Or at least put the lid on it for now. That Berryman's Chem Dip is not very pleasant stuff for your skin. Just give it a little bit of a rinse and a brush. Man, try to clean my hands off a little bit with this carb cleaner. So I'm going to spread all these ports and passages here real quick, just a little bit. Both directions, each way. Now I'm just going to kind of spray off the whole thing inside and out. Oh, forgot that passage. I'm going to let it sit. When I pull the rest of the carburetor and 90-degree elbow out, then this carburetor is going to go back in. Look at that, guys. Would you just look at it? This fuel petcock is messed up. I was trying to get it to turn last night, and it felt like it was starting to give, but what I ended up doing was the knob loosened up around the shaft that's inside it there, and the knob is just turning around the shaft. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to repair that. I might just have to replace it. I've got a couple of these lying around here, but I don't know if they leak or not. That might be why they're just lying around here. So I'm going to get busy again. We'll try and get this done in a reasonable amount of time. These gasket scrapers are nice. They do a good job at removing the gasket without really gouging the soft metal. With a putty knife or a razor blade, it can be, if you're not very careful, it can be easy to gouge the aluminum or pot metal or whatever the piece you're working on is made from. There. If you guys are anything like me, you probably can't wait to see this thing done. See how nice it's going to look, how well it's going to run. Oh yeah. Sorry if I'm not talkative enough. I know this might get boring, but I also know that you're not here just to hear me talk, hear me talking to myself. I'm just really focused on what I'm doing and trying to get it done. check out this float. It's yeah. Good news. You hear that? Do you guys hear that in there? Good. Neither do I. It seems as if there's nothing inside this float. No fluid got in there, which means that it should be good. We gotta get this thing clean. I want it shiny like new. So it is clean. And with it shiny like new, it'll also help so I can see if there's any pinholes. I'll be more likely to be able to see them with my eyes instead of just relying on the, well, I think that's just a little dent, but there might be a tiny little pinhole there because of the dent, but we'll find out. But sometimes there might be a hole in it, but it's not guaranteed to get enough fluid in there for you to hear it by shaking it around. That's pretty clean. Yep, I don't hear anything in there, guys. Looks good. Sounds good. Oh, these parts are coming out looking pretty nice. Man, that 24-hour soak really did a good job. Get off of there. The steel wool was stuck on the brush. Some of these parts I don't really need to clean because some of them I'm going to be getting with the carb kit that's coming to me in the mail right now as we speak. But that's fine. I'm going to clean them anyways. In case the carb kit is missing anything, it'll be nice to have everything cleaned and ready to go. Honestly, if it wouldn't be for gaskets, I probably wouldn't have really needed a carb kit, since there was no sign of damage from ethanol in this at all. But you know what? They're not expensive. I'm going to throw one in anyway. Gotta be careful with this needle. It has like a rubber tip to it. Just gonna be very careful cleaning that. And here we have the little hinge pin for the float. Give that a nice polish so that, you know, in case I need to reuse this, the float will be able to hinge nice and easy. Okay, now we get to the bowl. It's fairly clean, guys. There's an area in there that is still black. If you look really closely, there's a brown spot in the bottom there on the one side that is still some of that gunk from the old fuel, the molasses. I should be able to get this all cleaned out right now. We'll see. Take some steel wool down in there and see what that does for it. If not, then a second soak will do this thing some good and should brighten it up nice and clean. Hey, that came out pretty good. The inside of this bowl is looking good. See? I mean, it don't get any better than that. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the outside now. Hopefully I can get the outside looking just as nice. Like I said, I take pride in my work, so I want it to be visually appealing. Even though when I'm using this tractor, I won't see it. When I'm working on it, I will. That came out pretty nice. It's still going to go for another dip with all the rest of the carburetor parts, but man, came out pretty nice, guys. If I do say so myself. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm kind of good at this. Now comes this big long needle piece. That should clean up really nicely. It's got some tiny, tiny passageways in it though that I'm concerned about. Oh yeah, all these tiny little passageways. The only thing I have left to clean right now before putting it back into soak is these little bolts, these little machine screws that hold on the elbow to the carburetor. And that's that, folks. That is part 2 of cleaning up this carburetor. I mean, it is almost there, guys. Like, I mean, it's probably, I could probably finish getting it ready without soaking it one more time. But I'm going to soak it one more time because I want to make extra sure that all those little passageways are clear. I wish that I had an ultrasonic cleaner. It was just a cheap one from Harbor Freight. I really wish that that still worked. And, of course, it quit on me. Ugh. So, it is what it is. I'm going to get a better one later. But, yeah, for now I don't have one. It's alright. I'll make do without it. So, well, there you have it, guys. Clean that Berryman's Chem Dip off of here. That is part 2 of cleaning the carburetor from my QT17. That is part 2 of cleaning the carburetor from my QT17. Thank you for tuning in, guys, and I hope you have a nice night, and I will see you on the next one.